Hello guys, today's topic is law of indices, and we're going to be looking at some subtopics under law of indices, which is multiplying powers with the same basis. Multiplying powers with the same basis. Now we have two methods of multiplying powers with the same basis. We have the expanded method and the short method. Now let's take a quick look at this example. Now the first question says 3 raised to power 3 multiplied by 3 raised to power 4 using the expanded method. Now if I'm solving this using the expanded method, this is the base. The base here is raised to power 3, the base here is raised to power 4. So now if I'm solving this using the expanded method, it means I'm going to be multiplying my 3 into 3 places, which is 3 times 3 times 3 multiplied by 3 into 4 places. 3 raised to power 4 means 3 into 4 places. That's 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. Which gives us what? We are going to pick 1, which is the base. Then count the numbers of 3's we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That gives us what? 3 raised to power 7. Now this method is called the expanded method. It's called the what? Expanded method of multiplying powers with the same basis under law of indices. Expanded method. Now the other method is the short method. Now there are rules under law of indices. When we have a multiplication sign means addition under law of indices. Now I'm still going to solve the same question using the short method. Now we still have 3 raised to power 3 multiplied by 3 raised to power 4 equals to. Now this multiplication sign means addition, so we are going to be adding the powers together by writing out the base, which is 3 raised to power 3 plus 4. The reason why I'm adding these powers together is because multiplication sign means addition under law of indices. So which will give us what? 3 raised to power 7. So this is a short method of solving the question. Do you understand? Now let's look at another examples under multiplying powers with the same basis. Let's look at other examples. Example 2. Example 2. Example 2. Now, when we have d raised to power 5 multiplied by d. This is d raised to power 5 multiplied by d. Now, what does that mean? Using the expanded method, d raised to power 5 means you have to multiply d into 5 places, which will give us d times d times another d. This is 3 times d, making 4 times d into 5 places, because this is d raised to power 5 multiplied by d raised to power what? An invisible one, which is still d. Now you can tell that the base here is d raised to power the numbers of d's we have here. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's d raised to power 6. So this method is called the expanded method. The expanded method. Expanded method. Now, I can still use this question to solve the short method. Now, having d raised to power 5 multiplied by d equals, don't forget, I told you that this multiplication sign under law of indices means addition. It means the powers will be added by writing out the base, which is d raised to power 5 plus 1. There's an invisible one here. That is how I come about this one. So that means d raised to power 5 plus 1 gives us what? D raised to power 6. So this method is called the short method. Short method of solving multiplying powers with the same basis under law of indices. Example 3. Example 3. Example 3. Example 3. Now, example 3 question says 5y raised to power 3 multiplied by 2y raised to power 2 multiplied by y. Now, I'm going to, before you multiply this base, the first thing you do is to separate the numbers from the letters. Now, I'm going to separate the numbers by multiplying it first by saying 5 multiplied by 2 multiplied by, can you tell me the coefficient of this y? The coefficient of this y is 1 multiplied by y raised to power 3 multiplied by y raised to power 2, then multiplied by y raised to power 1. There's an invisible one here. So now, having done that, we're going to multiply the numbers together. 5 times 2 times 1 gives us what? Can you tell me the answer? 5 times 2 is 10. 10 times 1 will give us what? 10. Multiplied by, I'm going to write out the base. The base here is what? Y. Don't forget, multiplication sign means addition under law of indices. So I'm going to be adding the powers together by saying 3 plus 2 plus 1. Now, we have 10 times y raised to power 3 plus 2 gives us what? 5. 5 plus 1 is 6. So your final answer is 10 times y raised to power 6 will give us what? 10y raised to power 6. Now, let's take a look at this class tax. Class tax. Class tax. Class tax. Number 1. What is x raised to power 4 multiplied by x raised to power 2? X raised to power 4 multiplied by x raised to power 2. I'm going to count 10. I'm going to count 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So let's solve this together. Now, the base here is what? X. We are going to be using the short method. The base here is X. Don't forget, you are going to add the powers together because we have a multiplication sign. Under law of indices, multiplication means addition. So we're going to be adding the powers together by saying 4 plus 2. X raised to power 4 plus 2, which is equals to what? X raised to power 6. Is that correct? Good job. Question 2. What is 3 over 4 into bracket raised to power 3 multiplied by 3 over 4 into bracket raised to power 3. I'm going to count 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now let's solve it together. The base here is what? 3 over 4. What do we do next? We are going to add the powers together because we have a multiplication sign. So that gives us what? 3 plus 3, which equals to what? 3 over 4 raised to power 6. Class tax number 3. Class tax number 3. What is 4 raised to power 2 multiplied by 4 raised to power 3 multiplied by 4 raised to power 4. So now, using the short method, I'm going to write out the base, which is 4, then add the powers together. But before then, I'm going to count 1 to 10 to know your final answer. So my count starts now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, after writing out the base, we are going to add the powers together by saying 2 plus 3 plus 4, which will give us what? 4 raised to power what? 9. 4 raised to power 9. 4 raised to power 9. Any question? So if you have any question, you can private chat me or put it in the comment section. So another subtopic under law of indices is dividing power with the same basis. Let's look at dividing powers with the same basis. 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 Now, look at this example. Number 1. Dividing powers with the same basis. Now, when we have 4 raised to power 5 divided by 4 raised to power 3, we can also solve this using the expanded method. We also have two ways of solving these dividing powers with the same basis under law of indices. Now we're going to be solving this using the expanded method and the short method. The expanded method and the short method. Now using expanded method, 4 raised to power 5 simply means 4 times 4 times 4 into 5 places. That's 4 multiplied by 4 times 4 times 4 times 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into 5 places divided by 4 raised to power 3. That means 4 times 4 times 4. That's into 3 places. Now, I'm going to be dividing the numbers by crossing it out. This cancel this. This cancel this. 4 cancel 4. How many 4 do we have left? We have 4 multiplied by 4, which gives us what? 4 raised to power 2. So this method is called the expanded method. It is called the what? Expanded method. I'm still going to use this question to solve the shortcut. The short method. Now, 4 raised to power 5 divided by 4 raised to power 3 equals to. Now, under law of indices, note, division sign means subtraction. Division means subtraction. It means we are going to be subtracting the powers. We are going to be taking away 5 from 3 by writing out the base, which is 4. It means 4 raised to power 5 minus 3. Because division sign means minus under law of indices. So which will give us what? 4 raised to power 2. Can you see the answers are the same? So this method is called the expanded method, while this method is called the short method. Now let's take a look at another example under dividing powers with the same basis. Dividing powers with the same basis. Example 2. Example 2. Under dividing powers with the same basis. Dividing powers with the same basis. Example 2. Now, when we have 8y raised to power 6 divided by 2y, how do we solve this? Now, I'm still going to make use of the expanded method and the short method. Now, if we are using the expanded method, this simply means 8 times y into 6 places. That's 8 times y times y times y times y times y times y. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 into 6 places, because y raised to power 6 means y times y times y times y into 6 places divided by 2 times y. 2 here can go. That gives us 1. 2 in 8 will give us what? 4. This y will cancel this y. What do we have left? We have 4 times, how many y do we have left? Y times another y times y times y times y. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that gives us what? 4 times y raised to power how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Raised to power 5, which will give us 4y raised to power 5. Do you understand? Do you understand? Now let's look at the short method of solving this. This method is called the expanded method. So let's look at the short method. So if you are solving this using the short method, this means 8, we are going to separate the numbers by saying 8 divided by 2, right? Into brackets, y raised to power 6 divided by y. Now, what is 8 divided by 2? 8 divided by 2 means I'm going to count 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's divide it by 2. 1, 2, 1. 1, 2, 2. 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2 is what? 4. So 8 divided by 2 gives us what? 4 into brackets. Now, the base here is what? Y. Don't forget, we are going to minus the powers because we have a division sign. And division means minus under law of indices. So that means y raised to power 6 minus what? Minus 1. There's an invisible 1 here. And the reason why I'm subtracting it is because the division simply means minus under law of indices. So that gives us 4 into brackets. Y raised to power 6 take away 1 will give us what? 5. So now we have 4 times y, which will give us what? 4y raised to power 5. Do you understand? Do you understand? Good. So now let's take a look at the class tax. Class tax under dividing powers with the same basis. Class tax under dividing powers with the same basis. Class tax. Number one. 12 raised to power 6 divided by 12 raised to power 4. Using the short method, after the count of 10, you have to give me the answer. Now I'm going to count 10. Go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So now let's do correction of question 1. The base here is what? 12. Using the short form, I'm going to write my power, which is 6. My division sign means minus 4. So the final answer is 12 raised to power what? Raised to power 2. Class tax question 2. When we have 20y raised to power 14 divided by 5y raised to power 5. Now I'm going to count 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, if you are solving this, the first thing you do is to separate the numbers from the letters. Separate the numbers from the letters by putting them in the bracket. So I'm going to start by saying 20 divided by 5. 20 divided by 5 into brackets y raised to power 14 divided by y raised to power 5. Now, what is 20 divided by 5? 20 divided by 5 simply means you're going to count 20 and divide it into 5 places. So let's count using a group of 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Now, let's divide it by 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's what? 4. So 20 divided by 5 will give us 4. Don't forget to put it into brackets. Bracket. The base here is what? Y. Raised to power what? 14. The division sign will change to what? Minus 5. So that gives us what? 4 into brackets. Y raised to power. What is 14 take away 5? That's what? 9. So your final answer is what? 4 times y raised to power 9 will give us 4y raised to power 9. Do you understand? Good job. Now let's take a look at this last class stacks. Question number 3. Question 3. Question 3. Question 3. Question 3. What is 50b raised to power 7 divided by 50b raised to power 3? I'm going to count 10 for you to solve the question. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, the base here is what? 50. Raised to power b raised to power 7. The division sign will change to what? Minus 3. So that gives us what? 50b raised to power 7 take away 3 will give us what? 4. That's your final answer. Do you understand?